Welcome to the Vetiver Vibes podcast. We're your hosts, Nikki Fraser, Rachel Dean, and Rhonda Greenberry, certified clinical aromatherapists, coming to you from Ontario, Canada, and on the internet everywhere. We're excited that you have given your time to be here with us, knowing you'll get the best essential oil scoop. This episode is brought to you by Essentria, a leading online school for aromatherapy. If you want to learn more about how to use aromatherapy with kids, check out the mini courses at www.schoolofessentria.com. Hello, everyone. I'm Nikki Fraser, and welcome to our very first episode of Vetiver Vibes. We will be meeting weekly to discuss aromatherapy and how to use them in our daily life safely. In today's episode, we are going to talk about what is aromatherapy. We hear the word aromatherapy. A lot of people think they know what it is, but today I want to get down a few more layers as to what really is aromatherapy. So according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it says inhalation or bodily application as by massage of fragrant essential oils as from flowers and fruits for therapeutic purpose. Broadly, the use of aroma to enhance a feeling of well-being. So that is their definition of what aromatherapy is. I then also went to the Canadian Federation of Aromatherapists website. They have a section that describes what is aromatherapy. And they describe it as aromatherapy can be defined as the art and science of using naturally extracted aromatic essence from plants to balance, harmonize, and promote the health of body, mind, and spirit. It seeks to unify physiological, psychological, and spiritual process to enhance an individual's innate healing process, which I actually really like that definition of it. It still doesn't get into what exactly the products are and all that type of stuff, but it talks about how, it's really a mind, body, soul aspect that we can work with when it comes to aromatherapy. We are not just physical beings. Yes, we have a body, but there's so much more to us. And aromatherapy can help us on all of those different levels, which is fantastic. So aromatherapy is the practice of using aromatic compounds. The aroma part of aromatherapy means there's an aromatic component to it. So using aromatic compounds to help the mind, body, and soul. Now, this includes using essential oils, carrier oils, hydrosols, CO2 extracts. So it is not just essential oils. A lot of people think aromatherapy, essential oils. That's all it is. And that's where we want to make sure that you realize that it is so much more than just essential oils. Sometimes you don't even need the essential oils to make something and have the desired effect that you really want to have. So let's dive a little bit into what are essential oils. Essential oils are volatile oils that are extracted from a plant. This can be seeds, this can be flowers, bark, roots, the leaves, right? There's all kinds of different places on a plant, and each plant stores their essence, which is what it is before it's extracted. They store their essence in different parts. So when we're looking at vetiver, it's in the roots. They extract the vetiver essential oil from the roots of the plant. When we look at lavender, it's from the petals. Oranges and citrus fruits, there's actually little pockets right under the rind, and that is where the essence is kept. So you think of all the different essential oils, and they come from different parts, right? And some, such as cinnamon bark, you can get it from the bark of the tree, but then there's also cinnamon leaf, which you can also get from the leaf of the tree. And then, so some plants can give you multiple essential oils depending on where it's extracted from. And each one has their own therapeutic benefits also, because the leaves have chemical compositions that the bark doesn't, that the flower doesn't, that the seed doesn't. So if some plants, you can get them from different spots, they'll each have their own chemical compounds, their own aromas, their own benefits, even though they come from the same plant, which is really, really cool. The other part is that when we're looking at essential oils, there's different ways on how we can use them, right? Aromatically is a big way. So when we are looking aromatically, we're looking at using them through inhalers, diffusing, putting them on a cotton ball, on aromatherapy jewelry is a big one that I like to use. Anywhere where it's in the air and you are inhaling it that way. If you put a drop on your hand, rub it and cough. Inhale deeply. You are inhaling, it is hitting the olfactory, and that is how you're getting the benefits aromatically. The other way of using it is topically. So when we are using essential oils topically, it means it's going on our skin, anywhere on the body, but it is going on the skin. So when we are using them topically, though, it is very, 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 very important that you dilute the essential oils. The biggest thing that we want to do is make sure that no one's getting sensitized. If you are applying essential oils to the skin without diluting, then the body can eventually react to it. And we don't want that. So what is dilution? What are we going to dilute with? And that is carrier oils. So as much as essential oils, they have amazing therapeutic properties. There are hundreds and hundreds of essential oils out there. And it's the bread and butter of aromatherapy. This is where you get the aromatic compounds, this is where you get the strong therapeutic benefits. And I'll get into it a little bit more in a bit as to how strong the essential oils are, but we can't dismiss the carrier oils. And carrier oils are vegetable, seeds, nuts, anything that's high in fat, an oil that's high in fat. You don't want to be using anything like canola oil or things like that. But jojoba oil, sweet almond oil, coconut oil, borage oil, castor oil, there's apricot kernel oil, sesame oil, argan. There's so many different oils out there that can be used. And depending on what you are looking to help with, you can select a carrier oil that has amazing therapeutic benefits also. They're not just, something to dilute the essential oil in and rub it on your skin and bam, you're done. Carrier oils have amazing vitamins, amazing fats for the skin. Our skin needs fat to stay healthy. They absorb into the skin, into the blood, and they have their own, like I said, vitamins that will really nourish the body also. So picking a carrier oil at random is great. It will do the job. But if you want to dig deeper, you can look into carrier oils as to what it is in it that will help enhance the formula that you're making, the product that you're making, so that you then get the wowness of the essential oils with the therapeutic benefits. And then you get the bonus wowness of the therapeutic benefits of the carrier oils. And this is where, marrying those two together, you can have an amazing formula to help yourself, your family, your clients, anyone that you're making products for. And a lot of times you don't even need to add essential oils to the carrier oil, right? Anyone from babies, kids, elderly, sensitive health, critical health, anyone with very complicated health history, where you might not be sure which essential oils to use, a lot of times just using carrier oils will be enough. Also, depending on what the ailment that you're looking to help with. A lot of times just dry skin, scalp, things like that. Using just carrier oils is often going to be enough that you won't even need to add essential oils to it. And this includes body butters and raw ingredients like clays and aloe. So many different things that we can work with. They all make up the world of aromatherapy. So, we need to dive deeper into what isn't an essential oil and how these other products that we're bringing in while we're making our formulas can give us these benefits too. Another product that a lot of people don't think about to use are hydrosols. So in North America, the term is more hydrosols. In Europe, it's more hydrolats. We use both terms interchangeably. So, whichever term that you're using, hydrosols, hydrolats, they're the same thing. However, it's not necessarily the same thing as floral waters, which might be a little bit different. And there's a lot of other terms that can be out there too, that could be a little bit different because it's not just water and you add a drop of essential oil in it. Hydrosols are the product that used to be often left behind when making essential oils. So when you're distilling the essential oils, you put all the plant material into the distiller, and then it compresses it, and then, eventually they extract the essential oil, which is oil and water don't mix. So the oil is typically, there are a few that sink, but typically they float on top. Then you can siphon them off. And then what's left is the water. And that water still contains many of those properties, those benefits of the essential oil in the water. So you can then take that, and that is the hydrosol. And hydrosols are amazing for babies, children, elderly, health compromised conditions, anyone who's going through, major health crisis, or who is, they find that the oils are strong. Hydrosols are fantastic to use in these situations. As I said, we don't want to be using essential oils on babies and young children because they're very, very strong. Now, there are exceptions to every rule. Don't get me wrong. We have to look at the whole picture. But this is where hydrosols come in, and you can diffuse hydrosols. You can add them into formulas. Anywhere that you're using water, you can replace it with a hydrolat and get extra boost of benefits because you're getting those amazing properties instead of water, right? As much as water is great, in formulas that we're making, they don't give anything extra typically. Whereas if you replace it with the hydrosols, then you get those extra benefits, those extra properties in your product, which is great. And you can add hydrosols to your diffuser and just diffuse those. You can make room sprays, you can do toners and cleansers, so many different ways on how to use it, especially with delicate skin, such as on the face, anywhere that, as I said, that, oils are very strong. And if you want something just a little bit more gentle, hydrosols are definitely the way to go. Using aromatherapy can help the body, as we said. So when we're using aromatherapy, mind, body, soul, when we look at the body, we want to use it where the ache is, right? So earlier this week, I've been doing a lot of biking and walks with the family. So my legs have been getting tender. So making a product and massaging my legs where it is tender, that's where I'm going to be using it. So for aches, pains, if there's a cough, I'm going to put it on my chest, on my back, where my lungs are. For sleep, you can use it aromatically in a diffuser, or you could put a little bit on your chest, or sometimes I just put a little dab under my nose, or on the wrist, or just behind my ears, somewhere where I can smell it, and before I go to sleep, so that I can get that deep sleep. Dry skin, you're going to be using it topically by applying it where the dry skin is. It can help with the mind also, when you're applying topically, when you're helping with the body, because as you're applying it, you're also inhaling it. You're going to be smelling it. So when you're applying topically, you're also using it aromatically. However, with the body, we're not just body, as I mentioned earlier. We also have a mind. And this is where aromatherapy can really come in and help with anxiety, depression, temper tantrums, that nonstop chatter in our mind sometimes that we get that is just negative self-talk or just doubting ourselves. Just, those voices that just won't let us sleep at night. I call it the monkey brain often. It can help decrease that. It can help change that. This is where, I like to add it with affirmations and things like that I'll get into a little bit later too, because it can really help with the mind and with the soul, connecting to yourself, grounding yourself. Anyone who works with chakras or energy, you can tap into that part. And that is really what aromatherapy is. We're using it on the body, for the mind, and for the soul, reconnecting with ourselves, grounding ourselves. The one thing is, it's really important to note that aromatherapy is super, super amazing, but we always want to stress that it isn't replacing what your health team is recommending. So if you are going to your naturopath, to your doctor, to your specialist, and they're telling you to do XYZ, fantastic. We're not telling you to stop that. Any aromatherapist is telling you to stop that, you might want to kind of check the credentials a little bit, because what we are saying is that aromatherapy is a complementary protocol. It's a complementary aspect to add to it, because we're not going to contradict what your health team is saying. This is something to add in with those protocols. And it's important that your health team is aware that you're using aromatherapy products, because there are a lot of things that can contraindicate each other also. And the best thing is that while we're using aromatherapy with Western medicine, you can get the best of both worlds, right? It's not a one or the other. You don't need to do just Western medicine or just holistic practices. You can combine the two together, and aromatherapy combined with Western medicine can be fantastic. It's fantastic on its own, absolutely, but it's also fantastic when combined with both, because there's a time and a place for each one. And making sure that we are using both complementary together is just going to benefit a lot of people. And the best thing is that there's more and more studies, there's more and more research going into essential oils, going into holistic practices, holistic modalities. And if you, last night, I did a quick search in PubMed, and it came back with 1,789 results for aromatherapy. And I've used this to do a lot of mini courses, to do a lot of things where, I want to see what the research is, and even just my own curiosity, what's going on out there in the research world. And out of these results, you're looking at how aromatherapy can help with children, insomnia, pregnancy, palliative care, constipation, migraines, right? And those were all in, I think, the first 10 researches, those were the topics that I saw. So if you actually want to go through those 1,789, you're going to be seeing a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different conditions that they are testing and researching how aromatherapy can help. So there's science behind it. It's not just, snake oil and fake oil and, woo-woo magic. As much as I'm huge into woo-woo, I'm really out on the woo-woo, but it's not just woo-woo magic. There's actual science behind it. Essential oils, when you put them under the microscope, when you study them, when you look at them, there are chemical compounds in the oils, which explains why you're getting the reaction and the benefits that you're getting. This is also why, plants are powerful. They are amazing gifts from the earth. And when scientists are looking to create new medications, new products, they often go to animals, plants. They're looking at the compounds to see, oh, okay, great. This has this compound. I can synthesize it, duplicate it this way. So you're not just relying on plants, but they make their own lab version of that chemical compound that they found in the plant, and they realized, oh, this is great for pain. This is great to numb the pain, making a stronger pain relieving product that they can then sell. So, the research is there. A lot of these products are based on these research testing that is happening. When we're using aromatherapy, we also, because they're so powerful, a lot of places are researching it and they're seeing how strong they are. We also need to use caution with them, because you're not just using the plant, right? If we look at what is in a bottle and how strong it is, if we look at rose oil, it takes 242,000 rose petals to distill 5 milliliters of essential oil. It takes 48,400 petals to make 1 milliliter of rose essential oil. And then it would take about 2,420 petals to make 1 drop of essential oil for rose. That is for rose. Okay. So this is what, right? Like, you don't just grab a rose and be like, oh, therapeutic benefits. No, it's a lot of plant material compound compressed to make the essential oil. And this is why they are so strong and why we need to use them cautiously, because it's not in the natural state. It might be a natural product, but it's not in the natural state. So because they're so strong, they can actually interfere with medications and health concerns. If you are using wintergreen or oregano, those can inhibit blood clotting. So if you are on any kind of blood clotting medication, if you have a blood clotting disorder, if you're about to go in for a surgery, if you're about to give birth, these are oils you don't want to be using, because you don't want to disrupt your blood clotting ability, which wintergreen, oregano, and there are other oils also that can do this. There are oils that can disrupt any kind of antidepressants. There are oils that can disrupt, as I said, medication that can trigger seizures. So if you are epileptic or something like that, you want to make sure that you're avoiding essential oils that can actually trigger a seizure. This is where aromatherapists come in, and they know the ins and outs of aromatherapy. They know which essential oils to use, which not to use, which ones can cause photosensitization, right? You don't want to be putting lime or bergamot all over your skin and then hop outside and go to the beach, because it will change the skin pigmentation. And this is all part of aromatherapy. It's not just using it willy-nilly, these products, but knowing the safety behind it also is very, very important. So I touched a little bit as to how strong they were with the rose oil. And when we're looking at it, right, it's absolutely amazing. So I talked about rose, just to give you another example of lavender. So it takes 3 pounds of lavender to make 15 milliliters of essential oil. And when we look at a 15 milliliter bottle, that's 3 pounds. Doesn't sound like too bad, but it's still quite a bit to make a 15 milliliter bottle. If we look at lemons, it roughly takes 50 lemons to make 15 milliliter bottle. And then to break that down, to compare it to the rose, lemon to rose. So out of that 15 milliliter bottle, there are about 300 drops in a 15 milliliter bottle. So which means there are around 3 1/3 lemon per 1 milliliter and about 0.166 lemons per drop. So when you're using drops to clean a product, I use lemon a lot to clean my fruits, my veggies, the floors, the counters, all kinds of degreasing, all that type of stuff. So that's how many lemons you're using each time you put a drop. Compared to rose, which, I'll take 0.166 lemons over 2,420 petals. for 1 drop of rose. And this is where a lot of people, when they look at aromatherapy, they're like, wow, the cost. Yes, it can be expensive for some oils because it takes so much product. It takes so much leaves. It takes so much flower petals, and they're very delicate. And depending on, like, if you look at jasmine, which is an absolute, it's even more delicate because they can't distill it the same way as a lot of the other flower petals because they're so delicate, it would just turn to mush. And this is why a price of a bottle of lemon, you know, is like $10 versus, and that's for a 15 milliliter versus the price of a 5 milliliter bottle of rose is a couple $100. Because the plant material, each plant makes essence in its own way. And again, this all comes into the aromatherapy world and how amazing plants are. But it can be very cost effective when you're taking, you don't need to use rose. I rarely use rose. Some of my women blends right after I gave birth, I used rose because it is absolutely amazing for hormones. And I wanted to help rebalance my hormones after birth. You know, those are specific situations, but often there, you know, you can use a geranium, which has similar properties and is very cost effective compared to rose. You know, citrus ones are amazing for anxiety and depression and very, very cost effective. And this is where, when you get into that world of aromatherapy and you see how it all works, it's amazing to see really how affordable it can be when you're using it properly. And again, this is where, you know, proper dilution, and because you only need a few drops when you're applying them topically, even aromatically, you know, 4 to 6 drops in a diffuser. That's all you need. 1% in a blend is often all you need when you're using topically, which is only 2 drops in 10 milliliters. Even if you were to do 3%, that's 6 drops in 10 milliliters of carrier oil. So you don't need a lot when you are using them, which is super, super important. The other great part is that if it doesn't work for you or one person, that one oil, because many of the plants have very similar properties, some of them overlap each other, you can easily pick another oil. So I personally love woods oils. I love to be grounded. I do forest bathing. I love to be outside, all that type of stuff. So me, if I can smell wood, dirt, anything like that, I'm absolutely happy. However, I know a lot of people aren't like that. So vetiver is actually one of my top 5 oils. It's probably one of my number one, but it's just so hard to pick. So I always say my top 5 are these, and they're kind of all tie in together. But vetiver is actually one of my top oils because it smells like I'm rolling around in mulch, which to me is pure heaven. However, many people I understand do not have that same love of dirt and mulch and plant that I do. So if you want something a little bit more subtle, cedarwood is amazing. It's very grounding. It has some similar properties and is another great oil that you could use if you don't like the aroma of one, but you like the aroma of another. Or if you just found that, you know, the vetiver didn't work, you can try the cedarwood. If it has nothing to do with the aroma, or you can use Roman chamomile if you're looking for something for sleep, for calming down. It's something else that has some of the properties similar to cedarwood and vetiver to help with calming down and sleeping. So works for one, just like any over the counter, anything a doctor were to give you, anything that you were to try out in the world, you know, there's never a blanket statement that this will work for every person, because each person is designed uniquely. Each person, you know, reacts differently to something. And because one oil didn't work, it doesn't mean that, oh, oils aren't going to work. This carrier oil isn't going to work. No, we have so many options out there that we can try and use and take advantage of. The other part of aromatherapy that I absolutely, absolutely, absolutely love is subtle aromatherapy. It is tapping into your intuition. It is a branch of aromatherapy that is dedicated on an energetic, vibrational level. You're using it, especially when you're using it with visualization, setting intentions, affirmations, meditation, hypnosis. I do a lot of guided imagery, hypnosis, anything, affirmations. I'm huge into affirmations. So I typically actually wear a mala. So I'll sometimes do my malas. I'll have my some blend in a diffuser, and I'll be doing my affirmations just at one point through the day. Anything like that. Subtle aromatherapy really helps you get out of the head, stop overthinking, and just get into the energetic world around you. Using it for card pulls. It's a whole world in itself with the subtle aromatherapy that, again, we are body, mind, and soul. And that soul part of us also needs to be nourished and taken care of. And aromatherapy is great for that, for cleansing out our spaces, manifesting what it is that we want to manifest. So that is a little bit on what aromatherapy is. I wanted to, peel back a few of those layers and go in a little bit more deep as to what is aromatherapy. As I said, it's not just essential oils. There is the carrier oils. There's also the infusing of oils, right? If you actually get the plant material, which this kind of goes into the herbalism, where herbalism and aromatherapy tie in together, but where you're taking a carrier oil, so you can have, a sesame oil and put in calendula flowers, and you can infuse that for, if you wanted to go the long route, for 3-4 weeks. If you want to go the short route, pop it in a crock pot and, infuse it over a day. But then you have this beautiful sesame oil that has the amazing properties of calendula. And then you can use that for dry skin or small wounds or anything like that. It's just, again, I could go on and on. Aromatherapy has so many different layers and so many ways of using it to support someone to their best abilities. So thank you so much for joining me today and learning all about aromatherapy, the basic, what is aromatherapy. You can connect with us anytime on Facebook, Instagram at School of Essentria. You can learn more about our certification programs and mini courses that we offer on our website at www.schoolofessentria.com. And we look forward for you tuning in next time on Vetiver Vibes. Have a good day, everyone. This episode was brought to you by Essentria, a leading online aromatherapy school. You can join their free introductory to essential oil course at www.schoolofessentria.com. If you love this episode or you got a lot of value out of it, please make sure you share it with someone in your community who you think would enjoy it too. If you haven't already subscribed or reviewed the show yet, you can go on over to your preferred streaming platform and hit subscribe, then leave a review. This is the best way to help support us, and we appreciate it. Email us with a screenshot of the review and you will be entered into our monthly draw for a free mini course. This podcast is for information purpose only. We are certified clinical aromatherapists and holistic health professionals. If you have a medical concern, please refer to your health team. Everyone's health is unique to themselves, so the topics and suggestions stated may or may not apply to you.